So who were taking to the LAX this morning?
I was taking my friend Walker.
John Walker?
Young Walker.
This is the guy who won a couple of races this weekend,
Yes,
right?
he won.
It's from Canada.
No, that's John Waller.
Okay.
Yes, Walker is from North Carolina.
Okay.
I think he won 3 races this week.
I hope John Waller doesn't work with construction.
I think he does.
There was a guy doing a 132nd scale tire tour. His name was John Sanders. So
Okay.
yeah. So it happens. Justin, thank you for coming. Thank you for visiting Electric Dreams. I was telling you when I was giving you the tour, I think people from the 124 scale world don't realize how big 132nd is. And then the other way around too, because 124, I know that your group, the races USRA and Israel are getting smaller and smaller.
Yes.
But it's so technical, it's so professional. People just put a lot of time, and that's part of the reason of people are not, the group is not getting bigger, because you need to put a lot of time on this. But my my comment here, and I want to hear it back, is I don't think people realize from that group, from that bubble, how big 132nd scale is.
I think there is some truth to that. I think they know that 124th exists, or 132nd is a thing. Obviously, with NSR being more prevalent in 124th Israel racing now, I think it's going to become more obvious how big 132nd is. But there is some crossover between the 124th and 132nd racers.
Well,
not a lot.
On USRA, you guys have a 132nd class, but it's not
Yeah,
what we
it's
do. It's not the hard body replica what
yeah.
we do here. Yeah.
Yeah, completely different car.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring. Paul Gawrowski was here 3 days ago, and I'm trying to bring him to race the nationals. I think it's gonna be cool to have that guy here. I went to the track. I set up a time and gave the controller to him, and he was learning the track. And in 20 laps, he beat me. So the guy is pretty fast. And I think what NSR is doing is very important. But if I bring some of those people here, I think it's gonna be a little bit more. What's the word? People will notice more what we're doing here because we have big races. The Slotted Nationals is close to 75 racers, and we're sold out 3 months in advance, which is numbers as the same as the Israel that you guys haven't had in Atlantic City a couple months ago.
Yeah.
So it's 2 different types of racing, slot car racing. Like we have dragster, like we have other club racing. But I wish I could have a little bit more of the season of the 124 scale guys like you, who brought the pit boxes and dedicated yourselves and put a lot of time to make those cars work in here, because we have a lot of racers, but we still don't have the high culture of people just like, okay, I'm gonna work on my car. And the ones that actually do, they're the winners. They're the fast guys.
Right.
So I kind of my goal here is trying to bring guys like you for an interview, or trying to invite you guys to come and race to see if there's this mix. And what do you think about that?
No, I've thought about coming down for a slot at Nationals a few times. I know a few of the guys I used to race 124th with and have raced 132nd NHO with have come down here for it.
Yeah. Ian, Herman, Rick, probably. Yeah. Rick Lean was here on the first Nationals.
I saw that.
Yeah, he went to the finals. Yeah, he didn't have the equipment, but yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a good driver. I think he had something come up and couldn't come to Nats this last week, but he's always a challenge to race with.
Oh yeah. There's a handful of guys who are just like, oh my god. It's same here. Like know they're up there. In every single race I have one. Who's your favorite driver right now? Who do you think is in the best momentum?
In 124th.
Yeah. In your world.
So, just Like internationally or just in the States?
Everybody. What's your best? What's the guy that you say, oh my God, I'm coming second today?
Well, there's Dominicus from Lithuania
Okay.
in Israel. He's ranked number 1 in Israel right now.
Okay.
He's always placing a bet on him to win is always a safe bet.
Safe bet. So do you think it's his equipment, his dedication to put the car together, or is just the driving?
It's with the Israel stuff. It's a mix of all three.
Yeah.
You got to have all three to
Yeah.
be at the top.
It is hard because you don't make money out of it. You don't have sponsors. It is a hardcore competition, and at the same time, you need to stay 18 days in Atlantic City to support one of those events. Where do you make the money? You need to be. What the fuck is going on? It's hard.
It's a challenge sometimes.
It's a challenge. Nobody who has 18 days. Nobody has 18 days. Even if you dedicate yourself to it, not even like a professional racing team. Can have 18 days in a facility to race a race. Not even in Indianapolis. The Indy 500, they don't put 18 days on the track.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. But thankfully, Israel, even though the days are long, it's 2 solid weeks of just partying and fun, and then some slot car racing.
No, some's like okay. Now it explain. Now it's easy to find out to clear 18 days in your calendar. But that's the whole thing for me. Like we here at the store, we came to a challenge where some people are coming here almost every day. So they're putting a lot of time on their cars for the next week. We race once a month. That's it. We do have some Tuesday night races, but it's a very small group of people. We're just like a gentleman's race. Classes are super simple, almost out of the box. But the monthly races, which happens on the weekends, we have once a month. And some people are here almost every day setting up those cars. So the new guys who are just starting or who started a long time ago, but still need some track time, they come here and see the same person. Oh, my God. They just walk back. And then my group is kind of becoming smaller because those guys are just tired and don't have the time to dedicate themselves to do this.
Right.
And I see the same thing with Israel and USRA because it's always travel involved. You always have to go somewhere.
Yeah, with as few tracks as we have for 124th stuff, there's a lot more traveling than the 132.
Yeah.
I was right now back in my area up in Sacramento, there's probably a good 3 or 4 tracks in the area that we race 132 cars on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where there's one track for 124th.
Yeah. Frank was the last one.
Frank was
the last one to host a USRA race.
No, we were. My track was.
Oh, your track? I didn't know they have a track.
Yeah.
So that's your track, the one that you mentioned.
I work there.
Oh, okay. Which one is that?
That is Fast Track Hobbies.
Okay.
It's in Rockland,
just
kind of outside of Sacramento.
That's a big store with RC and stuff.
Yes.
I didn't know that you worked there.
Yeah.
Good.
So I have plenty of toys at my disposal.
Yeah. Well, same here, as you can see. Yeah, that's a cool store. And you guys have like 2 or 3 tracks, right?
We have 3 tracks and a drag strip that's still kind of under construction.
Okay. And you're involved only with slot cars or involved with everything?
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got planes. I've had plenty of RC cars myself.
Okay.
I know a bit of everything.
Yeah, but you don't compete on RC like you compete on slot cars, right?
No. Slot cars is the only thing I do competitively anymore. So I originally started out running 8-scale nitro RC buggies when I was like 8, 9.
All right.
Or
and when
around there.
And you start super early for slot cars too, right?
Roughly around the same time.
And I remember seeing that you were an American champion with before you have a driver's license.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that? So.
Trying to think where to start with my slot car.
Yeah.
Slot car story.
When it was the first one that you got? The first one that I got was used from a colleague. That he got a new one from Christmas, and the old one he just I can have it. So I bought it, and I have to solder stuff, and I didn't have a solder iron, so I used my grandma's stove to kind of try to press the soldering to put the motor in place. That was my first story. So you probably have some drama too.
A little bit. So, Christmas, I believe, 2007. So I was 8 years old
Okay.
when I got my first car, and I was right around the corner from the track. So I would go there as many times as I can, because me and my dad were still racing RC cars
RC
then.
cars.
So he would go in, talk with the employees. I'd spend hours on the track, or he'd take me there, drop me off, and pick me up at the end of the day. I spent a lot of summer days there.
Okay.
Just end up playing around for a couple years. And then about 2009-ish, one of the regular racers there noticed I was getting around decent and suggested I start racing on the weekly club races. So he prepped me a car and started letting me race it. And then we had the big regional series, which sadly no longer going around because there's not enough tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, and I think that was like my first ever race, and I finished like middle of the field. Won the amateur class and
Okay.
everything.
They're pretty good for a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
All right.
And then skip forward to 2012. I had just been doing nothing but club racing and the regional stuff for 2 years at that point. The nationals at Frank's Place in 2012. That's where I won my first 2 national championships, junior NASCAR and pro NASCAR.
Okay. Are those 2 classes still going on or no?
Junior, every once in a while you'll see a junior or an amateur class, like a true amateur class at a nationals. Those are still, if there's enough local
Okay. People there.
people doing that, they'll have a class for that. And then really that is when I started getting really into it and traveling to more bigger races, maybe not as much local club racing, or I didn't focus on that as much as I did traveling out of state to bigger races.
Okay. And when was the first out-of-state race?
First out of state race was the same year.
Okay. So you won the national. Say, okay, this boy needs to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I went to a race in Idaho.
Okay.
Did okay there.
Idaho. I
Won.
didn't even know that we have a track over there.
Yeah, I think there's still a club there. That one of the tracks is now set up at a place in Washington State.
Okay.
But that club that was there is no more.
Okay. Idaho is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was
I went to Blackfoot, Idaho.
I think this place was kind of just outside of Boise.
Mhm.
So that was my first out-of-state race. And then I went to, actually, I think I went to Pacific Slotcar Raceways
Uh-huh.
earlier that year.
Gene Radford.
Yeah, I went to Radford's place earlier that year.
Still strong. Pretty cool tracks.
Yeah, he's got, I think, just a flat track and a little small hill climb now.
Yeah.
He used to have a little shorter king track, and then he got a hill climb.
What is a shorter king track? Like
It's
small straight?
the finger
Uh-huh.
is, I think, it was like 10 feet shorter.
Oh, okay.
That was a fun little track.
Well,
But he got rid of his bank tracks now.
did you ever race at Buena Park here?
I never made it down to Buena Park.
Really?
Yeah.
We have the tracks now. Some point's going to be up, but we have the tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of history on that.
Yeah, I look
king
forward
track.
to coming
Google
down.
told me to torch it right in my face, but I think still there's a lot of history there, especially for retro. It's a good track.
Yeah.
And the flat track used to be close to you.
Yeah, yes, that one came out of Chico, I believe.
Yeah. Did you ever race on that one?
No, that was before I started.
Oh, okay.
My
Before
track,
I was born.
Yeah. My track had basically a mirror image of that one.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's a sister
Yeah.
from that one. So that's in Rockling?
No, that one ended up in Clear Lake,
Okay.
and then that place closed, and I'm not sure where that track is now.
It's a cool track. I don't know who built it, but it's a cool track.
Yeah.
For hard body, the hard body that we use, Kits Tanaka series, 124 hard body, it's a hell of a track. It's a hell of a track.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun there. I won 2 nationals there. Well, everybody calls it national, so. But yeah, it's a lot of history. So with 13 years old, you got the first one, and then you never stopped. Say, okay,
Yeah, and it just kept going on. I missed a few nationals because I would have to fly and wasn't quite ready for that yet.
Yeah.
In 13 and 15. And then in 15...
Oh, you were 14 years old, so...
Yeah.
Oh.
And then in 2015 was the first time I went to Worlds.
Mm-hmm. That's...
And that is Isra.
Yeah, but so where was it?
Oh, that was in Prague.
Oh, yeah. I remember that one.
Yeah, that was my first experience with... Traveling outside of the country. And
seeing another language being spoken.
Yeah, it was
traumatic.
It was an experience.
Did you share a room with Chin Holt or something? That could be
I have done that a lot.
Oh God!
But not that time.
Oh God, that would be the worst thing. Very enthusiastic person. Yeah, well, let's wake up. Let's go to the track.
Believe me, I know.
Come on. Can be a pit partner with that guy. Those. So when you tell me that you stay out for 18 days and there's some slot car racing, now I start to understand. It's kind of a relief from your personal life or something. So just like it's literally vacation. People are literally having fun.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But for me, and I hate to come back to that subject. It's very hard to understand. It's a very small closed club with their own rankings that doesn't promote very well, and you it's hard to find information. It's hard to find results. It's hard to find dates, and to run Israel, you have to qualify and you have to race a couple of official events to have some sort of a ranking or put your name on a list or something like that.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
So obviously, first time racing a slot car, you can't jump into Isra.
Yeah.
But there's no like qualification really needed to get into Isra.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. If you're new, technically you need your country's delegate approval to.
Where's our delegate?
I believe it's still Jonathan Forsyth.
Oh, okay.
Currently.
Okay.
Not.
Jonathan was racing
sure.
this weekend, right?
He was.
Fast guy too.
Very fast.
Younger. He's about your age, right?
I think he's a few years older than me.
He's older. Oh.
But yeah, we're close to the same generation.
There's another guy who's super young who was with the hat there. Who's his name?
That was Walker.
Walker.
Yeah.
That's the guy who brought you to the airport.
Yes.
Okay. What's his first name?
Walker.
Okay. And I hope his last name's not Walker too. No. But what's his last name?
His last name is
McCarthy, MC something, right?
McAnulty.
McAnulty, yeah, okay, yeah. You, Jonathan, and Walker. If you're following slot car racing and you see pictures you see those guys literally growing. Like you see those guys from 12 years old just getting beards and weird. Now they're all weird and old like the other guys. But that's the younger generation, right?
Yeah, which
is not that big.
Another sad point is there's not a lot of kids in the 124th scene
it's very hard to access
in the States.
It's very hard to access. To build a car, you need a lot of skills, and if you have somebody to do for you, it's
right. There's plenty of kids playing with 132nd HO cars at home.
Mm-hmm.
I see it every day at my work.
Yeah.
And we have because we do a lot of rentals there too. So we have plenty of kids come in and play with rentals. That's
for you, by the way.
No, thank you. The hardest thing is getting kids to come back, or I guess enticing the parents to bring the kids back to start racing, or to at least buy their own car and come out, play on the track with it, and then start racing. Yeah,
it's we do some rentals here too. Not rentals. We kind of like you pay for an hour and just drive whatever we have. It's a bigger step if you reel them in to come here and have their first contact with slot cars,
Right.
For us, we have two ways to keep it going. They can buy a set and build it at home, and it's going to be like a seasonal thing. At some point, they're going to get rid of it because it's in the middle of the living room or in the middle of a garage, so they don't want it anymore.
Right.
Secondly, you can try to make that guy come here more often. And we do have some kids that come here almost every week. Like Arlo is one, but Arlo is crazy about racing. We have more. But to bring that 7, 8, 9-year-old kid to become a racer, it's possible. But if you don't have a very excited parent behind him, they're never going to do
Right.
it. They're never going to do it because it involves money, involves time, involves driving, involves a lot of things. And here in California specifically, we have a lot of activities. People, like we have Brandon who has Jackson and Owen. Brandon is a racer. He tries to bring Jackson and Owen, but Jackson and Owen, they always have baseball and soccer and a lot of outdoor activities. And then we're also fighting with video games, which is something that you might get into your generation, but on mine was just beginning.
Right.
When I was 14, 15, that was like 96 and 97. And then you have the internet coming along, and then we kind of have to share the group. And in Brazil, we had another problem that was the currency exchange was just skyrocketing. So in '96, we had $1 per $1 which was our currency, and right now it's 5 per one. Mm-hmm. So it's very hard to get parts, especially things coming from here, and then become unpopular. But I see your point, and I think we share the same opinion. It's very hard to show the slot cars, even though if they're very excited about it. It's very hard to turn the guy who came to see for the first time, or the kid that came for see for the first time, to become a racer, to have like a pit box and start to buy parts. It's possible. Sometimes when it happens here, it's probably somebody older than 40 or 50. Right. It's a cycle. You start, for me at least, was like when I got to 18, got to college, I just forgot about slot cars. And then at some point in my life, when my life was more, I don't have kids, but usually it's when after you have kids and the kids a little grow up, you start to find a hobby and then you come back to slot cars.
Right.
So you have this big gap between ages of 15 and almost 40 that you don't have any racers. So you have very young kids that it's very hard to become racers, and you have old guys who are passing or giving up or just... So every time that you see a picture, we post a picture of our last race. We have this group picture. And a guy who is very experienced, who is not from this country, but is very famous in our little bubble. Mm-hmm. His first comment was, "Oh, very, very young guys I see. A lot of young guys I see." It's the kind of comment that you don't do nothing with it, and I just don't understand. At the same point, just to complete my thought, this group of 50-something years old, who is today the majority of our bubble, they're not trying to bring anybody new. They're okay with what we have. They don't care about the future of it. You posted a couple of days ago a picture of your car just destroyed, and you say, "Welcome to Brushless racing." And I understand that the brushless car, if you get out, there's no braking in the car. Just go for the.
Yes, a lot harder hits.
A lot harder hits because they don't stop.
Yeah,
they just go, and I understand that. And everybody commenting there. Even there's a guy saying, "Welcome to Slotcar racing." The guy has been doing this for 20 years, 25 years, 20. I don't know how old are you, but look. 20 years ago, welcome to Slotcar racing. Like it's like mansplaining, whatever it was, right? It's just very hard to deal with these people. Like we do have some characters here who is it's very hard, and you and me, I think you're 10 years or so younger than me. We are from the generation that we don't belong to the main generation of Slotcar racers right now.
Right.
And we try to say, look, what we can do to don't kill this vibe? Like, what we can do to keep this thing going? And those guys, they just don't care. They just, if you read, I don't know if you read the comments of your post of your destroyed car, it's just people being mean. Like they don't have nothing. Yeah. Nothing happens there to like, okay, this is cool. Sorry, luck in the next time. I'm sorry for nothing. It's just like, yeah, I know that happened to me. I've been through this. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm tired. I'm tired.
And there were a few people that got what I was doing with that post. One of the guys was someone who races Isra that very good friends with. And honestly, the same thing could have happened without Brushless.
Yeah.
Just that class of car is the fastest class in all of scale racing. Only things faster will be wing cars.
Yeah.
So any race, especially recently, because the cars have gotten faster, tracks have gotten faster, so hits have been hard for a couple years, even before Brushless has come into being a viable option for these cars, which at the top level is only with the NSR stuff, maybe a couple others, but mostly with the NSR stuff. Now it's a bit more available for people, easier, just put in and go.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Well,
compared to, it's amazing from where it's at.
we're talking about the motor, right?
About the motor.
Yeah, the whole thing, the whole chassis is still a pain in the ass to put together. It comes in parts and pieces.
Well, thankfully, that Eurosport stuff specifically comes pre-built usually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. Now, still a pain in the ass for
Okay.
people building them.
Yeah.
But when we buy them, they come pre-built.
Okay.
There's some chassis that do come as kits, which can be a pain.
Yeah, give me 7 days to put one of those together.
Which makes it not
How much
feel
is
even worse.
How much is a pre-built chassis?
The Eurosport stuff are roughly 150 to 170 each.
That's good. That's not bad.
It's not bad,
Yeah.
but
So we're gonna put it together a car under $600 with the NSR motor and everything.
yeah, you're
And then
you're
need
about 650 or so.
yeah, and then you need like 300 just to practice because you're gonna need bodies and tires and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. It's not.
Plus gluing tires. Oh, the worst
Yeah.
thing.
Isra racing is not cheap.
Yeah.
I think that's
the
another reason why there's
Yeah.
not a lot of people, even in the 124th world,
putting money on that.
putting money into Isra stuff,
It's
because
all-
that's an even smaller bubble than 124th entirely.
yeah. And drag
just-
racers, they put money on it. They bet money on it.
Yeah.
I think we should start to bet money on it. You guys were in Atlantic City 2 months ago, so let's start putting money on it. Maybe it's a way.
Sometimes there are some side bets going on at
Oh,
these
really?
races. Yeah.
I never saw that.
Everyone will throw $20 in.
yeah, 30 bucks is fine.
$20.
I put some pressure in Duran
Pull
last month. I was there on Friday and say, Duran, 2 things. I like the new paint job. Second, I have $50 on you. Don't disappoint me. It's just like, ooh. And just leave. Yeah, it's pretty impressive because Duran has been controlling the track for a long time now, and has been since Buena Park. It's very hard to beat him. And when I was involved in retro racing, he was open book. He shared everything, every single measurement that I needed. He was there, and helped me a lot to cut my corners. And it's very impressive that you guys come in and he stayed in 10th, 11th, 50 laps behind. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird for me to see because that guy is one of the top drivers that I know.
Yeah. No, he's, at least in the 124th world, apart from retro, he's known for being very good with one type of motor. That's 16D, which is used in the Group 10 and 4.5 classes at the Nationals.
Okay.
So he's always a challenge in those classes just because he's so good with building those motors. He knows how to get every ounce of power out of those motors.
I didn't know that. I know him about the retro racing. That is his cars are always fast. And did you build cars for somebody else this weekend?
Yes, I built. There were a few people running cars that I built.
Chassis from the scratch kits or?
Yes, and some flexi cars and some motors and stuff.
Yeah. Are you looking forward for next year's event? It's probably going to be in Chicago, right?
Yeah, it's got voted on to be in Chicago.
Yeah, it's a long trip.
Yeah.
Chicago airport's the worst.
Yeah, not the Not my favorite airport.
I go to Indy and I always land there because the rentals are cheaper. If you go to Indy and try to rent a car, it's 5 times the price.
Yeah.
Oh. But Justin, thank you very much for coming. Thank you for seeing Electric Dreams, and I want to invite you to be here at the Nationals in August, first weekend of August. I know that you can drive here. Come on, man.
Yeah.
It's a drive.
It's
a
not that
drive.
far.
Yeah, I know. let's put some challenge on you. I think it's too comfortable right now. People are asking you to build cars. It's too comfortable. You need to figure out more stuff yourself. The Nationals is in August, first weekend. And the rules are pretty clear. It's just like a $59 car from Slotted, and it's a handout motor, so and sealed. Nobody can touch it.
Mm-hmm.
You can break in whatever, can do whatever you want to break in, but the gear ratio is fixed, and wheels are the same, and spec tires too. So it's pretty much the same for everybody. Now this year we're gonna put a minimum body weight. So if you have 20 different types of Slotted Group C cars.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to have the same body weight. So it's going to be a playing field. It's going to be about the driving a lot.
Yeah.
You're invited.
Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.